You know what we'll do? Here, this is for you. I like that one, but this one's even nicer. They're more expensive, I can tell you. This is triple the price of that one, right? Here you go. Thank you. Pop. Come here, Pop. You know what that is? That's the best. That's the best. Oh, look at those boxes.
That was Donald Trump visiting East Palestine, Ohio, the site of a train derailment that has spread toxic chemicals across the community. Trump's presence in town was weird, given that his administration ended the railroad regulation that could have lessened or prevented this accident. But chin up, poison people. Donald Trump brought hats. And while Trump used the site of an environmental and public health crisis to do some good old campaigning, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg also touched down in East Palestine with a few thoughts on how Trump might make good on his promise to help.
You mentioned a national political figure who's decided to get involved. It sounds like you're talking about Trump, and then you said, I need your help. How can he help?
Well, one thing he could do is express support for reversing the deregulation that happened on his watch. I heard him say he had nothing to do with it, even though it was in his administration. So if he had nothing to do with it, and they did it in his administration against his will, maybe he could come out and say that he supports us moving in a different direction. We're not afraid to own our policies when it comes to raising the bar on regulation.
Buttigieg also had some ideas on exactly what regulations need to be put in place, which is good, because he's the only guy actually empowered to do any of that stuff.
I've got to think that him indicating that this is something that everybody, no matter how much you disagree on politics and presidential campaigns, can get behind. Higher fines, tougher regulations on safety, Congress untying our hands on braking rules, all the other things that go with that. That'd be a nice thing for him to do.
And Donald Trump had what passed for a closing thought, too. Though I'll warn you, it's a little odd when you remember that Trump is visiting the site of a toxic chemical spill, where residents can't drink their own water and children are at risk of serious illness.
Right? You know that. Nice to see you. Have a good time. You look so great up there. I'm gonna get a picture. Have fun, everybody.
Have fun, everybody. Try not to, breathe too much or anything. And if you can believe it, everybody wasn't having fun, especially the folks over at Fox News. Over there, the crisis in Ohio seemed to spark an actual moment of thought from young Brian Kilmeade.
I knew nothing about these derailment numbers. I'm stunned by it. That we have thousands of derailments all the time, and how costly it is, and how they're not kept up, and maybe the regulation needs to be there. I think there needs to be, there's a widespread sentiment to have a look at the whole rail industry, what the lobbyists are doing, and what the actual, I heard there were 3 people on that train of how many cars? 20 of which had chemicals in it?
Somebody at the front, somebody at the back, and
does that
some
blow
other
you away?
Let me just say, Brian Kilmeade is proof that you are never too old to develop a love of learning. Just think of what Fox News would be like if Rupert Murdoch allowed any of his anchors to read actual books. But it wasn't just Kilmeade speaking his mind. Here's Fox's Steve Doocy calling out hypocrisy from Republicans.
During the Trump administration, apparently, even when there were derailments, Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao never visited the sites. But what is different about that and this
gas.
Well, people just don't trust the government tests because they go, well, it's okay to trust, you can drink the water, you can breathe the air. People don't trust the tests. And so by virtue of government officials showing up, breathing the air, drinking the water, then it looks better.
That's right. Former Trump administration bootlick Steve Doocy just pointed out that Trump Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao never visited a single train derailment site. That includes several fiery derailments in 2018 and 2020 that prompted local evacuations. If Kilmeade and Doocy keep this up, they're going to find themselves put on vacation real soon. Meanwhile, residents in East Palestine finally got the opportunity to vent their anger to Republican Governor Mike DeWine and Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw. After DeWine argued that East Palestine is completely safe, one local challenged the Gov to stay there during the recovery. Watch this.
We have the best experts. We're going to listen to the experts.
Would you?
I think I was pretty clear when I said, Pardon me?
Would you stay? He's
would
asking
you
if
come
you would
I didn't hear
stay.
the question, I'm
If you
sorry.
would stay in East Palestine, would you come and spend
Yes.
the night there? You would.
Until
Yes.
the cleanup is done, you'll stay with us? Within the 1 mile?
Yes. I've been there. I've been there 3 times.
For a few hours.
I've
Will
been
you
there.
stay overnight for a period of time?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we hold you to that.
Yeah, I'll stay. Look, I'll stay overnight. Look,
That is not the confident answer of someone who really wants to spend a night in a town polluted with vinyl chloride. What's important to note here is many of these residents are Republicans who proudly supported DeWine and Trump. For the first time, these lifelong conservatives are seeing the GOP's grift firsthand. Now there are growing concerns that this accident could be the end for the town of East Palestine entirely. Mayor Trent Conway told reporters about the fear now consuming his town, and how some have already begun the process of leaving. Small businesses are suffering. Donald Trump is handing out hats. The federal government is still attempting to tally the sweeping cost to wildlife as well. By some estimates, up to 45,000 animals died as a direct result of the derailment and the toxic fumes. Locals now find their rivers polluted, their fish dead, and their ecosystem destroyed. These are the predictable results of Republican deregulation and the broken ideology of small government at any cost, because the cost is always massive, and those who pay it are always those with the least ability to fight back. Republicans abandoned the people of East Palestine long ago. Now the locals are finally getting the message. If you made it to the end, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. And leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.